I know you were saying that earlier, Dr. Nupi. I'm so
Yes.
excited to be back. It's been a hot minute. I was just telling Dr. Nupi, I think that the last one I did was like mid-September. I was supposed to have a guest and he was having all sorts of technology issues. Actually, no, power outages, which I don't mess around with. We don't mess around with power outages.
There we go.
But good to be back in the studio on Tisha Talks Live. And joining me today, I have Dr. Nupi Arora. She joins me from Manchester, England, so quite a ways away from Gilbert, Arizona. And we're going to be talking about some fun things that she's got going on. What the F list, which I cannot wait to dive into, and burnout and holistic care, and so much more. So if you were tuning into this live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever, or even if you're watching the replay, we love to hear from you. You can always catch us. Go ahead and tell us where you're from, what questions you have for Dr. Nupi, and we're going to get on with the show. But Dr. Nupi, it is a pleasure to have you
Yay.
on. My
Hi.
fellow
Oh,
Wonder Woman fan.
yes, exactly. I'll get her out later. But
Yeah,
it's
I'll
just
get her out
thank you.
later.
Thank you so much for having me on. I've been looking forward to this. And you're right. I had been posting about being in Funky Town this week. And it's one of those really, you just ride it, don't you? And
You do.
I thought I wasn't feeling it in midweek because normally I do a Fun Day Friday post, a karaoke, okie dokie karaoke in support of a friend, Melanie
Fun.
Costas, if you're watching. And I just thought, you know what? This is what real is
Mhm.
actually. And if this actually helps somebody else shift through maybe what they're going through, then that's why I'm here. That's why I show up. This is my message consistently. We were talking about this.
Right, right.
And if this helps one other person, job done. I'm happy
Yeah.
because I'm feeling better, which is why I, did what I did. If I wasn't feeling up to it, I would have listened to my body
All
and
right.
not done it. And that's what I did yesterday. So yeah, and I was just finishing up with that. So, which
I
is all
do like
part and
that.
parcel of my, thank you. It's all
Yeah.
part and parcel, I guess, of my F list as well as I guess my ethos as to why I came onto LinkedIn
Mhm.
and the whole glitter practitioner thing. It's exactly that. So I don't say stuff if I'm not doing it myself, is what I mean. It's everything I do for me.
I think that's
So
very important because you meet a lot of people who want to give you all the advice in the world, and that you're like, so you're taking your own advice, and they're like, no,
no,
I don't
yeah,
take my own advice. I am
yeah,
actually a hot mess too, but I can help you to not be a hot mess. And I'm like, gosh, I talked about this a lot. I'm like, you want to go with someone who's living it, who's breathing
yeah,
it, who's doing
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Royce Blake joining us off of LinkedIn saying, yay, I love glitter, except in my carpet. Haha. Yes, I agree.
It
I
does
agree.
have a tendency to go everywhere. Yes.
There is a reason. When there's just that one piece of glitter on your face and you're like, I can't get it. It is permanently stuck and fixated there.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
have glitter coming out of my pores, actually,
I
seriously, because this is my signature. I always have glittery eye makeup on, and I love it. Right, the
oh.
more the better. Come on.
More glitter, more
Yeah,
glitter, more glitter. Yeah, there was a post I put up, Dr. Nupi, and I don't know if you saw it earlier on LinkedIn, but I was piggybacking off of Johnny, who lives in Italy, and he was talking about how he was getting a lot of ridicule because he talks a lot about his success. He's like,
yeah.
I have the success, I bought my parents their house and all this stuff. And then because he doesn't always talk about the struggle, so he
Mm,
finally wrote a post about, here is the struggle. Here's what I've
mm,
gone through to get here. What you don't see is all the late nights and all the stuff that I took. And I just was like, yes, say it. I was like, you
yes,
deserve to talk about those things. Like, people need to
yeah,
know the real truth. They don't need to
yes,
just say, oh my gosh, he's crushing it. And now he's being braggy and
yes,
now he's being boastful. You
yes,
just need to be like, no, there's a story behind it.
yeah,
So I say
absolutely.
kudos to you for saying, nope, today is Funky Town Friday because I don't know what it is.
Oh, thanking you, honey. Thank you. And that's the thing. And I'm really so particular about saying this when I'm either on as a guest on somebody's show or even through my own live stream shows now,
Yeah.
that, you know, what I'm sharing, what I talk about, even in posts, it's not that I've got it all sussed, or other people, when we're talking about positive mindset, how to shift, how to do the F list. It's not because I've got it sussed. I've got the experience behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I've got lived experience plus my expertise in the field of medicine, as well as a coach and a healer, and all the holistic side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it is practice and practice, and then sharing it with patients, obviously, for the last 10, 11 years. But that doesn't mean I myself have got it sussed the whole time. It doesn't work like that. And I think going through that whole journey, I wouldn't change it for the world, the burnout section, because it's what's made me who I am.
Yeah.
And other bits and pieces, like, for example, even this week, getting a bit stuck in Funky Town, I'm through that, or, mostly I feel it feels much lighter.
Mm-hmm.
But what it really has done, I can see it helped me to stop and to rest, and just to take a step back a little bit. And maybe that's why it was happening. I don't know. It's the moon
Mm-hmm.
energy, I know it is. But these things happen, and it's how we ride through it. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean it's not happening. So other people can look at you and think, for example, oh, she's got it all sussed, or he's got it all sussed.
Mm-hmm.
It might look like that, but you don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. And I think that's always, because you can get stuck in this comparison. I call it
Oh.
comparisonitis,
Oh,
you know,
right.
where it's like, oh, they're doing so much better than me. Well, you don't really know that. Could be an optical illusion as well. But I
Yeah.
just think it's, especially, I think, if you're a voice, or you are talking about this kind of thing, I think it's really important to keep stressing, look, me saying this doesn't mean it's perfect in
Right.
my life. I'm working on it too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sharing what has worked for me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I decided to do this post irrespectively, because I thought, you know what? Maybe hearing it was really helpful just to cry. And I was happy to cry,
Mm-hmm.
and put sad music on to make myself cry as well. Just getting into the love a good cry. And then, 1 minute I'm crying, and then the next minute I'm giggling my head off at this reel that Brian Schulman had sent me when I was co-hosting with him last week on one of the shows. It's hilarious with Gabe. Gabe pretends to be me, basically. And it's the funniest thing. So in between crying and laughing, I'm like, okay, we got this.
We got
It's
this.
getting better. And
We
these are
got
the things
this.
that absolutely can help somebody else. It's real, essentially.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to
Mm.
bring Daryl into the mix. Daryl's joining us off of Facebook, and he says we are all
Yeah,
like ducks on a pond, calm on
I'm
top
on
and
top.
paddling like crazy underneath.
Yes. And you know what, Daryl? That is exactly how I describe what burnout was like for me. That
Yeah.
to everybody else, that was 12 years ago. And, there was a combination of factors of a new mum of twins, returning to work as a GP partner, it was the pressure I was putting on myself more than
Mm-hmm.
anything, but coupled with this absolutely Groundhog Day of just giving, giving, giving to everybody else, putting other people's needs first before my own, until I didn't even know who I was. And to everybody else, though, because I guess my personality, I was this radiant sunflower of energy, giving, yes, take this energy, no problem. And I didn't know my needs weren't in balance, or how to replenish them. So to everybody else, in fact, I remember my husband saying, you know, it's like you're a swan gliding gracefully across the pond. And inside I'm thinking, do you not see my feet? It's like a swan on steroids. I'm like literally going like this
Yeah.
just to keep afloat. But then I was a part to play, because I couldn't express this. I was
Mm-hmm.
so stuck within myself. I couldn't ask for help or share. You know what? I'm not okay. That was a key learning point for me, actually. It had to keep on going. I kept pushing through,
Mm-hmm.
because I was a perfectionist then, and I can do it. Of course I can. You just push through, and you're almost taught like that as well through med school and junior doctor training. Keep going. keep going, otherwise it's weak, you're a failure. All of this
Mm.
sort of inner chatter,
Hmm.
it's conditioned until I really couldn't go any further. And I was literally face down, metaphorically speaking. Um, and it was, it was horrible. It was
Yeah.
absolutely hideous. It was painful. It was, it was like my whole soul was ripped apart, and I just didn't know who I was anymore.
I think a
Yeah.
lot of us will go through that because I have a
Mm.
similar story. So you were saying, metaphorically, I'm face down. I shared just this week that I literally was like ugly crying
Yes.
in a bookstore
Oh
because
God.
in California, after a very successful event I
I'm
had,
not laughing at that. Sorry. It's just the way you said it. Because I'm like, yes, me too. Sorry, go
ugly
on.
cry, like
Yeah.
mascara
Yeah.
everywhere. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who I am, and I don't know what I want to do, and I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm on the path, and I don't know if this is my purpose, and I don't know. It's just so much. But I think a lot of us, and I'll say this because you shared this, I think a lot of us who are those people pleasers, like
Mm.
one of your topics is burnout, and this question of when do you feel like you're in burnout, and I do feel like it's like you said, Nupi, it's like I'm giving, and I'm not replenishing, and I'm not taking care of myself, and I'm constantly just exhausted. And
Yes.
that's when you're going to hit the crying, ugly
Yes.
crying in the
Yes.
bookstore.
Yes.
That's when you're going to throw
Yes.
your temper tantrum and be like, what is wrong with me? And what is
Yes.
wrong with this? And until you
Absolutely.
start to figure out the ways to change it, you're always going to stay there.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And I
uh,
think that's such a good point, because I remember, for example, looking in the mirror. This was probably just before I allowed myself to crash and burn completely. I remember looking in the mirror, and there was just this, I was just grey. It was like a mask. And it was getting harder and harder to put it on. And I
mhm.
could, but I was literally psyching myself up. And for example, if something's not right with me if my emojis start disappearing, because I am the queen of
you
emojis.
you are the dancing queen. I like
I
the
am.
dancing
I
one you always put
know.
up.
And this is my signature. I've always got glittery eye makeup on. And I remember, okay, I just put mascara on. It's one thing I will not wear. And I was like, I'm not putting glitter on. I
Oh,
can't even look. I couldn't look at myself.
oh
And I
no.
remember thinking, "Ah, come on, you can do it. You can do it." And then I'm driving to work, and it's just, I don't know how I get there. And then the minute I walk into the building though, and I'm in my clinic, and I'm able, it was the one thing that actually did that bit didn't go, which was, I think, my balm for that bit. I
Hmm.
loved seeing my patients, and that bit, I was like, oh, okay, I feel like I know what I'm doing. Otherwise, I just feel like a complete fraud half the time. I'm a crap mum, crap wife. I can't sew. I can't do this. I'm like,
I can't sew
since,
either.
yeah. And it's never bothered my husband that I can't sew. We'd laugh about it, but I was literally weeping. I was like, I can't even sew to him. And he's like, since when has it ever bothered me? I didn't marry you
For
for
sewing
sewing
skills.
skills. And I was like, yes, but I'm just so terrible. Everything was just hideous. And when you say messy crying, it was like, it's that, oh, it's just horrible. You feel your heart's just going to come out.
Yeah.
And I know I'm laughing about this now because there are going to be people out there who, I'm not laughing because it's funny to be like this. When you've kind of gone through it, if I can take the piss out of, oh, sorry, if I can take the Mickey out of myself, I know, okay, I'm fine now. I'm much better. Whereas if I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And you get so this, that's when I know you've become more withdrawn. And I think that's really, it can be very subtle sometimes because people around you might think, especially for those who are more extrovert like me and bubbly, that's what people expect. But
Right.
actually behind that, how are you? And I always ask, how are you really? Are
Hmm.
you? Rather than, and I would say this to patients as well, I don't accept okay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay? Nah, we don't want okay. I want you to come back to me You with friggin' bells on, which is what I
Mhm.
said once I'd gone through my journey of therapy, taking that time out. I remember my therapist saying, yeah, you seem so, much better. We were sort of reflecting, and it was the last session or something. And I was like, yeah, I feel like me again. And then I said, no, sack that. It's a very mank thing to say. Actually, I am so much more than me. And my dramatic, comes back out again. And I was like, I am me with bells on, like this. And then I couldn't, and it was just like, and he's like, yeah, I don't think you need to come back now. And I'm like, yeah, but I really like the chats, because he was going to mentor me and I was going to do some work with him anyway at a later stage. Anyway, and that's the key. You almost accept, okay, well, you know what, I'm okay, I guess.
Mhm.
Or I'm okay, but, or it could be, yeah, I'm all right. And I would say, well, no, I value your needs, and no, we're not going to stick with that. But I think
Mhm.
when you're in it, it's like, well, it's better than this. So this is my new normality.
Mhm.
And I'll just put up with it for a little bit longer and a little bit longer until that essence within you, which I call phys essence, it's your inner light and sparkle and joy. It never goes out, but it starts to dim.
Mhm.
And this is where the discord between your health needs, mind, body, soul, starts to happen, because you're not following the things that light you up because you feel like you can't, or there's no motivation or no energy. So these are the subtle signs to get, tying this into your question of how do you know when you're in that pre-stage. Burnout is when you're right, you've gone,
You're
that's
just
it,
done.
you're
Yeah.
done, you're
Yeah.
depleted, you're done in, bam. But it's that slippery slope beforehand, which is where my coaching, that's where I'm sort of targeting mainly women, but female physicians, professionals. It's when you start feeling, I remember what I used to feel. It was like, oh, it's another day. Or there's a lot of, I won't swear out loud, but FFS, you know,
Yep.
yeah. So
I
it's
got you,
that
girl. I
ground.
got you.
It's like, oh, really? Okay, here we go again. But you can still put your mask on, you can still do things, but it's like you're being torn between work and home and doing the things that self-care is going to help, like go to yoga, but that feels like a pressure in itself. F that. Oh my God. That's kind of the thought cycle leading in, or you hear yourself going, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. And inside, what you really want to do is F off. No. Not to be rude. We would never do it like that. But it's
No.
learning these are the things that people pleasing, perfectionism, not thinking that you're good enough, the deeper down, what's the root cause? Fear, shame. And that goes right the way back to things that might be triggering from somebody's childhood. And it's recognizing that within yourself. And this is where, as a group, I think medics are more prone to burnout because of the nature of who we are. We are, by default, we want to help.
Mhm.
We Hi Randy.
Randy.
I love Randy. I
F
love Randy to
off.
bits. Yeah, exactly, Randy. Not to you, Randy, my darling, but just it's my first hair. But inherently, we want to help. It's a very altruistic profession.
Mhm.
And you do put others' needs before your own. When you're their doctor and you're caring for a patient, that's what we do.
Sure.
But until, as a physician, you have to put your needs first as well. And that's something I learned the hard way through my burnout, which is why for the last 10, 11 years, I am absolutely so passionate. I will say the same thing again and again and again. Your needs matter. Oh, I love you too.
They do.
Your needs matter. End of. Own them, protect them, know your worth, and stand in your power. When you know how to balance your health needs, literally anything and everything is possible. And that's the truth. And that's my truth. And that's exactly, I guess, I'm living proof. And that's why I can say what I say with it's tried and tested, as has it been with patients over the last 10 years or so. I mean, and that's when you see the transformation, my goodness, and that's what lights me up. And when I see, I'm answering your question now about what's the glitter all about, but when I see that light come back in somebody's eyes when you're going, just holding space, even
Mm-hmm.
teaching somebody the breathing aspect, and just to see, okay, let's just bring this down and stay in respond mode. Somebody opens their eyes and I can see that light coming back in their eyes. That's the glitter. That's
Mm-hmm.
the sparkle that I see, or it's the energy that I feel. It's the fizzle, the fizz tingle of that exchange. And my patient might not understand the energy bit, but they know what they're feeling. And it's always the same, oh, Dr. Arora, oh, I feel like a weight's been lifted, or oh, it's like you've sprinkled your words with magical glitter, which is why that's what my patients would remember me by.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'd like, oh, I feel so much better just coming into this room. And I'm like, well, you will, because I Reiki'd it and I set this, cleared it, the energies as well. But also, it's holding space
Mm-hmm.
and it's listening from your heart. And that's why I call it's whole person, heart-centered care. And it's going beyond the surface issue. It's delving deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the true healing happens. And oh my gosh, the transformations. Oh, that's literally what lights me up, because it uplifts me, it inspires me. I'm empowering somebody else. And the beauty of this, like glitter, because it sticks, they are radiating their fizz essence, the inner light, which has a ripple effect on their their
Everybody else.
unit.
Everybody
Absolutely. So
else.
their family and their little community around them. And guess what happens? That inspires, empowers somebody else. And that's how the ripple effect goes. So for me, this is just, I'm just like, oh yeah, let's glitter bomb you. And I love
I
it.
love it. I
Literally,
love it.
my whole face lights up when I talk about it, because I think as well, the work I've done, specifically the work I've done actually as a safeguarding for children lead, as well as domestic abuse lead, trauma informed care lead, it's the inherent nature. I'm a chatterbox and I'm nosy. I'm curious, and that's what we call professional curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what's behind that presenting symptom, because that's just the surface. What's
Mm-hmm.
going on underneath? What went on? It's the same as sort of intuitive parenting. Is that, okay, so this toddler tantrum is here, that's the end result, but what happened 10 steps ago? How can we circumvent that? And in the same way for health, I know if you find out somebody's got issues at home with their partner, there's a coercive control relationship, there's a history of alcohol, drugs, and this and this and this, all of a sudden, that person's headache has a very different connotation here. So no
Mm-hmm.
amount of paracetamol, or, yes, you want to exclude worrying causes, but if you don't get to the root cause, none of that's going to help, because that
Mm-hmm.
person is still in this situation that's frankly toxic. And it's asking and recognize, I could talk about this for hours because it overlaps with so much work. But the point of what I'm saying is these are the areas where you have to do more of a root cause approach and see beyond. That's the whole purpose of it. And it's that then the transformations I see with what I've done and how I do it. Oh my, I would never not do that as a clinician, as a physician. And that is exactly what is my passion, actually, because you can change people's life.
I
And
do. I love that. I'm gonna put
and that
this
is just why I do what I do.
up too from Randy. The sparkle from inner glitter reflected back.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes.
I love what you're
Yes.
saying too, Nupi, because you're talking about we got to get to the root problem. And I remember I'm telling you about my ugly crying in the bookstore.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen. It didn't just
No.
get to that point. Like you said, there were
Yeah.
steps, there were experiences, there were moments involved that led me to that point where I'm like, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as a practitioner, as a coach, or you really do have to get to what is your specific I'm not generalizing it. I'm not saying that everybody is having the same issue, but let's figure out what is preventing you, or what's hurting you right now, or what is going on just specifically with you, and let's work through that together.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah,
Good. Well,
it
I
is.
I want to jump into. So you're big
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. I know glitter. I love. Thank you for
Oh,
sharing your story about glitter. It's not just your eyes.
no.
It's not just that. It's not just this persona, but it's really how you show. Yeah, the glitter bombs that you show up with your clients. Like you said, you see the transformation. You see the glitter and the sparkle in their eyes, and it's almost like you've just given them permission to
Yeah.
just be,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So you talk a lot about the F list, and I want to know, how did that originate, and what? Tell us a little bit more about what is the F list. Why should we all have an F list? How is an F list? How is that going to help us moving forward in our journey?
Oh, wow. So the F list is something I created. So I've been through my own journey through chemotherapy. So there's a whole load of background with it. It's all evidence based as well. And I come in back into practice, and I through my own journey of burnout. Yes, I was having psychology, mindfulness, learning modalities that I had never knew about. What I gained really was a deeper understanding of health that's not taught in medical school, nor is
Mm-hmm.
it taught in junior doctor training. And I'm naturally a curious, holistic minded person. So for me, it was just marrying it all together with the science of medicine. I'm a scientist at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it just suddenly came to me, and I was like, right, this is what I'm going to be sharing in practice, bearing in mind the deprived area I was working in. The wait lists for psychology that I had were ridiculous. It's 2-3 years, counseling again, long. So it was almost pulling together my learnings, the knowledge, the skills, and the stuff then I went on to develop further within myself through reading, courses, etc. And I remember when after having the 5 months off, which is what I took out for burnout, coming back into clinic, talking to somebody, and almost reiterating what I had learned about your baseline needs. Really important to eat the right foods and drink plenty of water and do this and this and this. This is what I was told and shared with me. And as I'm talking, I'm like literally going, it's really important, food and this. And then I went to, and fluids, it's very important. It's so important to get some fresh air, and it's very good to have some fun. These are your baseline needs. And I stopped mid-sentence and went, oh my God, this is brilliant. There's all these words that begin with an F. I'm going to call it my F list. Because I was talking about fundamental principles, which is owning your needs. It's ownership. It is about what are your needs. So I describe it as your mind, your body, your soul, your whole health. That's your whole self, your being. It's all interlinked. You can't separate them.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at just the physical, but then you're missing the underlying thing. So if one's off kilter, the others are going to follow, even if you don't know. And this is how I show it with patients. So your physical health needs food, fluids, fresh air. So it's eat the right foods, eat the healthy foods. It's not, your body needs it as fuel for it to work properly. Your cells, organs need it. If you eat crap, basically you're going to feel like crap,
You
is
feel
what I
like
say.
crap.
Yeah. And it's just a very quick way of explaining it. And my patients go, oh, yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I feel like crap
yeah,
after eating
yeah,
that whole pizza.
exactly. So these are the things that we might not have control. So specifically in a health situation, the disease or whatever's going on, until we discover what that is, okay, fine, where that's out of our control. The F list stuff, this is why it works, and this is the beauty of it, is because you get to govern what happens next. You get to choose whether or not I have that pizza all the time, every time, and then feel like crap and then think, oh my God, why am I pulling on weight? Or you take a step back, take ownership and go, okay, let me just mindfully think. The food part on the F list holistic prescription is, what did that doctor say? Oh yeah, if I eat crap, I feel like crap. So let's eat healthily. And it's just a quick way of keeping these things in your mind Because when you aren't well, be it physically or emotionally, your baseline health needs are the ones that you forget about. How often do we hear or see people saying, oh my God, I've not slept, or oh, I feel exhausted the whole time and I'm not eating properly, I'm not drinking properly. And those are the baseline needs that your body
Mm-hmm.
needs. So the fluids, plenty of hydration, water. And I always drop in here. Yeah, I love a few glasses of wine, sure. But if you're not feeling well physically or emotionally, alcohol is a depressant. It's going to interfere with your sleep as well. You don't need anything else. You're feeling crap anyway, or rubbishy or whatever. You don't need anything else to make it worse.
True.
Fresh air, movement, exercise, combine the two, even if it's just a walk, getting that fresh air on your face. It's a change of scene. It's a change of environment, essentially. Then the next few F's about emotional. So fun. It's my next favorite F. I'm saving my favorites to the end.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're the
so we've
best
got
ones.
food,
Food,
fluids,
fluids,
fresh
fresh
air,
air,
fun.
fun. So these are the things that make your heart sing, your passions, your hobbies, and it's rediscovering your hobbies and things that you love doing, perhaps even as a child. It's the quiet time stuff. So this is where my capish shell came in. I loved it making these, and I made one for Bruce when he came over. Singing, that's where my passion for singing came from. Drawing, which is the stuff I used to love as a child, but you kind of forget that aspect of yourself as an
Mm-hmm.
adult. And it's getting back in touch with my little Nupi, my inner
My
child,
little
and
Nupi.
yeah, and bringing her right to and I am a big kid, but it's like it's that wonderment as a child. And as an adult, embrace it. Go and have fun, proper fun. I don't mean go out and get hammered and, you know,
Yeah.
get
Proper
wasted. It's
fun. Proper
proper
fun.
fun where you are
Mhm.
literally belly laughing and you're filling your soul. That's what your soul wants you to have. It's joy again.
It
And then
is.
you've got friends, which is all about connection. I didn't use family because that can be triggering in itself. So
Mm-hmm.
friends is all about being with like-minded people. Go follow, their hearts match yours, for example. It's what I was singing earlier today, the Robbie song. And it's the ones who uplift you. It's your soul connections almost, and you can feel that. And then it's again taking ownership if there's groups. As you learn, you grow, you evolve, you shed layers, everybody around you, they might not be at that same level. So, somebody, what was a really good friendship maybe 10 years ago, all of a sudden, there isn't that common ground anymore.
Right.
That's okay. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're feeling a discord or, God, I don't want to go, I feel I ought to, and then that's where the pressure comes in. There's no such thing as I need to or I should. If you catch yourself saying that, it's again a reminder to go, hold on a minute, what does this say from my heart rather than what my head is saying? And it's becoming more heart centered. And that's what this teaches you. So there's lots of different psychological aspects to it. That's a quick one on friends. And then you've got my first two favorites, and this one, these three come hand in hand. This is brilliant. It's my favorite. I won't swear, but I'll just mime it. Ready? So this is the first F, and this
Okay.
is so friggin' powerful. It's my favorite
Oh, yeah. All right. Here it is.
because it has an energetic frequency. There is science behind this. Swearing helps it's like a short, sharp shock to the system. When your mind is whirring and it's very much a fear response or the amygdala is just firing off and it's readying you for survival mode. This it's a shock tactic actually, and it kind of just goes jolts it back down.
Mm-hmm.
And by using that, it's not, I don't mean go around going F off to people. It's not that. It is about reminding yourself your needs matter. Let's
You have
take
a
a step back.
choice.
You
Mm-hmm.
have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
All of this stuff, let's just put it to side for now. And straight with that first F comes focus and breathe. That is so powerful. And I teach breath work. The breath is how you bring that response, that constant firing, high alert, bring it back down, and all the neuroscience behind it, it's all evidence-based. The breath, what it does is bring you to here. So you stay in respond mode instead of knee-jerk, and then things, heighten up that way. And your thought process becomes more expansive. So you are still able to access your creative side and your problem solving skills, your lateral thinking, which is way more productive than which is the funk bit. And that's
Right.
exactly, you're trying to do it, and it's tiring, but it's understanding, okay, this too will pass. It's the negative side of things. And then the flip, which is the third F, which it's a very good one. If you're going to take anything away, F off, focus, breathe, and flip it. So flip is all about perspective, and it is challenging those negative self-beliefs, understanding, does this serve me? Where did it come from? How do I flip it? Because there's always a flip side. And it's also combining that with almost your own energy sense. So if you've got a lot of negative thoughts, the perspective, the lens with which you see through is going to be cloudy. You're not going to see clearly. And I liken it to everything else is going to feel, oh my God, everything's coming at me and it's all negative, negative, negative. If we give our glasses a clean, it's like glasses, give them a clean, and all of a sudden you can actually see through clearly. The lens perspective has changed, and it's looking at things in a different way. What else could this mean? It's becoming more curious with the emotion, the feeling that's coming up. So it's okay, name it, notice it first. Or what am I feeling? Is it fear? Is it anger? And
Name
then
it.
delving,
Name your feeling.
name your feeling, absolutely. And by naming it, you're taking some of its power away. So you notice, you name, and then it's the reframe. And it's like, okay, so maybe I'm feeling anxious because this, I can't control that side of things. Okay, so what can I control? What can I do? What else can I do? Who can I speak to? So it's using and this is my style even as a doctor, it's very coachy almost, but these are the baselines really. And then, but perspective is key, because changing your perspective means you suddenly open up possibilities of different options as well. And all of a sudden you've got more choices. And then throughout all of this, you have the power to choose. You get to govern what happens next. And you get to say, okay, well, that didn't work last time. So maybe if I try something differently, this might actually work. And yeah, and it's just also it's about being present. It's having an expanded awareness, connected to yourself, and remembering stuff from the past. It's already happened. This is really fundamental. I can't change that. I'd love to be able to magic it away. We can't. It's understanding, though. I'm not lessening somebody's traumatic past or something that's happened which is hideous. It doesn't need to define you. That's the difference. And it's learning how do I do that? It's about understanding self here, and what can I change now, which is going to help me go forward. And then in the same way, stuff that if you're worrying a lot about the future and that's becoming more angst and you're giving all this energy away to the what ifs and buts, again, it's not happened yet.
Stop worrying about it.
Come back to the present, and then you can look at things here and now. And it's a lot of mindfulness-based practice essentially behind my F list. And that's why and I've done it as a sort of as a list, because it's a prescription. So when I'm talking to clients or patients and I'm like, well, the doctor or my coach who's a doctor, it's on my prescription for a reason, to go and have fun. So and it's sharing with people, how do I craft time? I haven't got time always comes in. And it's showing people, actually, slowing yourself down, it's what Bruce says as well. If you slow things down and invest your time in the things you love doing, you are filling your happy meter and you are literally glowing and you feel energized. And all of a sudden, the things that you've got to do happen a lot quicker with a clearer mind and you're more productive. And this is what I mean about it's rediscovering your own joy. And it's the acronym I've made up. Just own you. And everybody
Yes.
deserves to live their life full of love, full of light, full of joy, full of fizz. And it's finding that balance because everybody's different. We're all unique in what lights me up might not light somebody else up. And it's finding what does and then applying it. And then, you know, life's not static. It constantly evolves and you're going to change as you grow and learn. And then the 3 affirmations that come. Oh, and I forgot one. Oh, I've forgotten 2. Sorry. Flow is an F, which is about being in flow, being connected and that. And then fabulous, which is learning about vulnerability, essentially, that even though you feel this is all too much and stuff is going on, it's that strength within your vulnerability. So today, I guess I showed up really vulnerable. I was in tears as I'm singing, but that's okay. I was happy to do that, and it's made me stronger for doing it because I know this is going to impact somebody else as well. And I actually had fun doing it as well. So it's a win-win cycle that starts happening. And it's being really self-aware. And then the 3 affirmations that go with the F list, which is about ownership, goes hand in hand. I will, I want to, because I am so Missy Elliott worth it, which is really sassy and gangster, as opposed to, L'Oreal. Hey,
I'm
I'm so worth
so Missy
it.
Elliott worth. I love it.
Yes.
Oh,
And it's like,
fun.
I'm worth it. Yeah, worth it. Dun, 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 and just a bit.
Now
And
I
then you
gotta
do
listen
that
to that
again.
song. I gotta
I know
turn
it's
that
great.
on.
So
Hey,
that
we had
very
some other
quickly,
folks. Yeah, no, that was great. I love it. We had some folks tuning in that were also commenting on that. I love this. Daryl Snow saying the medical community needs more people like Dr. Nupi. I personally would love that. Do you put that on an actual like prescription and
yeah,
say,
yes,
here is my
yes,
cure for you. This is
yes,
how you're
I
going to
do.
get through
That's
life.
exactly what I do. I create a prescription and I actually do that. So I write it down and actually I've created something on Canva, which is going to be downloadable very soon anyway. And it looks like a prescription. I've done the colors that look like a prescription and it's there as that. And the number of times I used to be, in the area I was practicing in was like, people would say, I wish we could clone you and put you in this surgery. Or I wish there were more doctors like you. I wish you were my doctor. But at the time, this was leading up to burnout. I I had to learn about boundaries, and that's exactly, post burnout. And I knew how to do that. I choose to practice this way. I choose to delve because I'm the lead in these certain areas, and too bloody right I will. It's people exactly, exactly, and that's why
I
I say
hear
I'm
Missy
like
Elliott coming out.
Wonder Woman. It's like Wonder Woman. I'm like, no, I serve mankind, truth and justice. And that's why I love her so much,
You have to come to California, Dr. Nupi, and ride
I'd love
her
to.
Wonder Woman ride at Magic Mountain. I went on it.
Oh, is
There's a
that
whole
right?
it's a single person, the longest roller coaster. It's the coolest thing. I went on it
I
a
love
couple
roller
times.
coasters. Oh
Yeah,
my
it was so fun.
goodness.
Yes, there's a Wonder Woman ride for you.
Oh,
All right,
I
we
tell you
had
what.
Diana.
Oh,
Diana was also
hi, Diana,
coming
London.
in. She said, "Yay, beautiful Nupi," and she talked about flip. Yes, flip it. Is this really
Is it
true,
true? Yes.
or so what?
Challenge. Yes.
So
It's looking for the
what?
evidence of is this real or is this a story that's in my head that I'm choosing to think is real? And then the further the deeper you go with this, you're gonna again more layers are gonna shed until you really are truly aligned with yourself.
Mhm.
Absolutely permission. It's
Yeah,
all about permission.
it
And that's
is.
what I say to people. It's almost, I give you permission that, you know what, I value your needs. I don't accept. Okay. Let's give you permission to be you with bells on, which is what I say.
Look at this. You have an invite to Magic Mountain. I have a
Yes.
season pass, so you ladies let me know. We'll do
Oh
that.
my goodness, I would love that.
You know, I have to
Oh,
share a funny story. So we're on this Magic Mountain, you know, we're at the Wonder Woman ride, and it's a single person roller coaster. So the ride
yeah,
never stops. It's not like the ride just stops and people get in and then they
yeah, yeah,
it's moving. So it's like a moving train. You just jump in, jump in, jump in. And it was the
right.
funniest thing. There was the people sitting next to us, they're like, we don't want to go in front. We're like, just take a seat. Just go. We're like, what are you waiting for? Like, we're just like, we're all in the line. We're all getting a seat. There is no waiting on the ride. It just made me laugh. Oh my
Exactly the same. Oh my goodness.
It's
Oh,
Wonder Woman Flight of Courage. Randy says she'll be in LA on the 23rd. Oh, coming up, just a couple
I'll
weeks.
be in
So
LA on the 23rd to the 25th of October.
yeah,
Oh, that's like next week or
that
something.
is
I
it's
really
coming
want to
up. You
come.
ladies have to do that ride. That
I
ride is
know. But I
amazing.
tell you what, if
So fun.
anybody is listening to this, and if you would like, I'm going to be shameless right now. If you would like a speaker, because I do speaking gigs, and any information with regards to the F list, and you want me to come and speak, then please fly me over. And I don't need
Fly me to
accommodation.
LA.
Yeah, I don't need accommodation. I've got plenty of people to stay with, and we can go on the roller coaster.
Yes.
There
Bring
we go.
your Diana cutout. Your Diana
Oh,
cutout.
shall I get her out now?
You didn't show her, but yeah, bring
Okay.
her.
So
That'll be
this is
fun.
my life-size cardboard cutout of Gal Gadot, who I'm obsessed with. I love her, really love her, because she's just, oh,
Badass.
and she is badass. And I know when she's coming out. My patients even knew I had her, and they're like, "Have you not taken it out of the cardboard box yet?" And I'm like, "No, no, it's not meant for this
All
surgery.
right,
Actually, it's not
let's
meant
see
for my
her.
room."
She's yes.
Hold on. She will come on stage when you can't see her there. Hold on a minute. If I bend her a bit.
Yeah, I think you had her
So
folded a little so
yeah,
that
I did have her folded. Sorry
she is a
about
life-size cardboard
cardboard.
cutout.
She's taller than life size, actually. Here
Oh,
she is.
there she
Hi.
is, Gal.
Hold
Gal
on a minute.
Gadot.
I'll do what I was doing to you before. One
Yeah, look at
second.
all of these ladies on here. I love her. Diana, nice.
I've
Yeah,
put
her face. Like her just like this face is like, are you effing serious
I'm
right
doing
now?
it. Look at my eyes. I'm going.
Doesn't it look like that? That's like the face that I see when I'm seeing her face right now. Like just her eyes, her facial expressions. Yes. That's it. That's it. Mm.
I just love her. I mean, just look at her.
Yeah, fierce, fierce, fabulous.
I can't do the eyebrows.
Yeah.
But she's amazing, and I love her.
Oh, good. Well, I know, Nupi, we have like
Oh,
a minute just to talk about. I put your website up, theglitterpractitioner.com. Tell us as
which
we
isn't
wrap it
live
up.
yet. Yes,
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
it's coming.
So, how else
Yes.
can people find you and what are you working on? I know you have a lot of things. You've got this global holistic clinic, all the
Yes.
things. So, yeah,
Thank
take us home
you.
and tell us a little bit more.
So you can find me on LinkedIn, essentially. That's where I live. You can also find me on YouTube, The Glitter Practitioner, Facebook, and Instagram. Every Monday, I have Live with The Glitter Practitioner, which is my live stream show. I have a different guest every week. And it's week 20 on Monday. And guess who's coming?
Hey, is it Bruce?
No, it's not Bruce. It's Shri, Video Queen
Oh,
herself.
Shree.
Yeah,
I love
I can't
Shree.
wait. I can't wait. I know. And then every other Tuesday, we've started a new live stream show, which is Supernova Sisters, Physicians in Motion, who I do with my Diana Londonio.
Oh,
So
great.
those are those. And then every Friday, I do a okie dokie dokie, whatever it's called, karaoke thing. And I'm always on link. I'm just
You are.
commenting. I love chatting. And Yeah. And where else can you find me? And what have I got in? Yes. So I guess the things that are coming up are my ebook, my F-list ebook, Find Your Fears and Flourish, which is also, it underpins, the F-list really underpins my coaching program, which is one-to-one coaching, 12 weeks, and you will find your fears and you will be flourishing and living your best life,
Find
full
your
of fizz.
fizz. I
Find your
love it.
fizz, full of glitter. And I've got a couple of collaboration things with Anthony Reed. I'm doing some workshops in November virtually. And watch this space. I might be coming to Arizona in the new year, February, March time,
Nice. Okay.
potentially for some speaking opportunities. Yeah, watch this space. And my Be You with Bells on book is going to be coming out in 2023.
Good
So
for
there's
you.
lots.
Yay.
There's lots going on. Yes.
Exciting
And speaking.
stuff.
Oh, and I'm applying for TED Talk. We might get one in before the end of this year. So again, watch this space.
Watch this space. I'll put it out there for you too. Well,
Thank
good
you.
stuff.
Oh,
Yes. Let's see. Diana had put something up. Yes, have watched all episodes of
yes, she
Glitter, and
has.
yes, come see the Supernova Sisters on 10/18. Good
Yes.
stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the comments coming through. Dr. Nupi, you definitely have the fans coming in, and that's amazing.
Oh,
And I just want to say thank you so much for being my first back. Like it's been a while since I've been on. So it's awesome to have you as my guest and hearing all
thank
about the
you.
F list. I can see how it is helping a lot of people.
Yeah.
So thanks to everyone who tuned in live to this or is catching the replay. You can always reach out to Dr. Nupi, like she said, on all sorts of platforms, but LinkedIn specifically. And we will catch you back. We'll catch you back in a couple of weeks. Actually, I have Lee Toe coming in. I don't know if you know him, but we're talking about abundance and how to grow your abundance pie.
Oh, I do. Yes, I do interact with him actually. I know exactly who you mean now. The pie bit, I recognize the pie.
Yes, he has a company called Pie Growers, and he's talking about one of my favorite topics, abundance.
Abundance.
So that's coming up on October 28th. So I just want to say thanks again for being here and happy Friday. Happy weekend to everybody out there.
Thank you for having me on. Seriously.
You're very welcome.
I loved it.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a good
one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.